Dahmer versus Gacy. Yes, this is Jeffrey Dahmer versus John Wayne Gacy. The basic premise is the United States government has begun the process of cloning serial killers in an attempt to make the ultimate killing machine, primarily for wartime. This movie, even when you read the synopsis on Netflix, says this is, like it's a farce in the way of these the versus movies. So of course what ends up happening is at the government facility, some of the killers get let loose, primarily Gacy and Dahmer. So then begin their bad acting, overacting, schlock-filled rampage to try to find the doctor responsible for it, and then finally kill him. There's not a lot of blood in this movie. Okay, there is a lot, but not as much as you would think with it being called Dahmer versus Gacy. They do a lot of going back and forth to a news channel that's covering the events, and then them doing kind of like the eyewitness testimonial of what actually happened, as well as some people who are like serial killer fangirls. Pretty over the top and pretty bizarre. Certain scenes you could tell probably were funnier when they were writing them. There's a scene where John Wayne Gacy runs into a mine, and of course he kills the mime. And when talking with the police chief, he talks about how much mimes suck and how he's fine with mimes being killed. It's done over the top with a definite blue screen behind him, and it's kind of more like funny. When you tell us it was written, they probably thought it was going to be like uproariously funny. Now, beyond Gacy in a clown makeup and Dahmer going through and doing stereotypical sorts of kills, there are other people involved. There's a guy who believes he's hearing the voice of God, who I think is Harlan Williams, the comedian. So you have a redneck who believes he's hearing the voice of God, who finds a katana blade so he can therefore kill these two. But at the same time, I guess the Japanese government is also making clone super soldiers, and they're ninjas. So you do get to see a redneck with a katana fighting ninjas. Have I said this movie is ridiculously over the top? So they finally get down to Gacy fighting Dahmer. And it's bizarre to say the very best. They do lots of like chest bumping and like rolling around on the ground. There really isn't like an actual like knockdown drag out fight. It looks almost like it's Greco-Roman high school wrestling. Done by people who've never done that wrestling before. And then that's when X-13, who is like the ultimate serial killer, shows up. And then begins to fight them with a combination of corn cobs and a meat cleaver. Yes, corn cobs and a meat cleaver. And at the very end, they realize one other serial killer has escaped. Charles Manson. So, I put this in the same vein as things kind of like Thanksgiving, where it's this weird, bizarre, overacted, bad writing, bizarre scenes, but it comes out and flat out says, you know what? This is a dumb movie. They even break the fourth wall and go, what if they made a movie? It'd probably be something stupid like, Dahmer versus Gacy, and it'd be really dumb. So it comes out and says, it's a dumb movie. But it's an entertaining movie. Out of all the versus movies, I've seen like Alien versus Hunter, which is an AVP ripoff. Alien vs. Predator 1, Alien vs. Predator 2, Freddy vs. Jason, Kramer vs. Kramer, King Kong vs. Godzilla. In fact, almost every Godzilla movie is Godzilla versus somebody else. And with most of them, the main billing is that main fight sequence. And normally they're pretty decent. In this one, the fight happens in like the last 15 minutes or so. And then that's when they also get attacked by the ninjas. So you will see Dahmer and X-13 fighting the ninjas, who appear to just like teleport into wherever there's turned over furniture. It's really weird, but it comes to say that it's a farcical story, and it does a pretty good job of that. So go into it thinking, you know what, I'm going to enjoy something really bizarre and crazy for an hour and a half. And that is Dahmer vs. Gacy.